What's your name?
Brandon Coonce. Been doing rock crawling since about late 2003 when I built my first TLT rock crawler. Just started with the stock TLT and then learned a lot, stretched it, and started messing with the 4-link suspension, and then used RC crawler for all my resources. My current competition crawler is still the AX10. I'm running a SWX chassis, comp shocks, the Axial comp shocks, the universals, the aluminum hop-ups for the axles. All Futaba steering, Futaba 4PK transmitter, and just a basic 55 turn motor. My favorite crawler to watch right now is I like watching Scott Hughes and Brad Dumont drive. I work with both the guys. They're both really good drivers. I learn a lot from them. We all kind of work together and learn a lot from each other. Really looking forward to the West Coast Championships this year. Me, Scott, and Brad, we're going to be driving the XR10 there. Here you can see the brand new Axial XR10 with the hardline body on it. Shown here, it's already assembled with the Proline chisels on it. I started at Axial June 2009 as a junior product designer. Currently been there almost a year, almost hit my year mark. So with the completion of the XR10, I'm now just a product designer, specifically just doing all the CAD work and all the manufacturing side.
In CAD, you can take and cycle the suspension and everything, right?
Yeah.
So with the right program, you can actually cycle the articulation?
Yeah, you can compress the shocks and you can see how the 4-link will move.
And if it's too long a shock, it would bottom out if it's too short, and all on the computer.
Yeah. The skid plate on this truck, if you look at it when it flexes, the links actually tuck right into the skid plate and they just barely miss it. So the XR10 is the MOA style. Our current AX10 has the drive shaft and the transmission and the motor all in the center, powering each axle. Now with motor on axles, you have independent control of each axle and each motor with the right electronics. You can drive each axle, forward, reverse, independently of each other, and it gives the driver a lot more control compared to the standard MOAs that are available now, that are all aluminum, either machined or cast parts. We went with nylon, so obviously with the plastic axle, your motor's in the right spot. They're as low as you can possibly get them, so your weight's where you need it. You definitely have a lot more adjustability because you can add your weight where you want it in your tires now for stability, and your overall weight's going to be a lot less than anything else. This truck is quite a bit different than the current MOAs on the market, mainly because it's a complete kit that you can build and you're not buying just axles. What Axial tried to do here is provide a kit that out of the box the guy can go and compete with. All the adjustments are there that he needs so that he can tune the rig where he wants it to be, for center of gravity, center clearance, and his shock setup. So everything's there that he needs to go ahead and build up his XR10 the way he wants to be competitive right out of the box. With the design of the Axial hardline body, we definitely wanted the front windshield to be in front of the shocks just to keep it lower. And we needed a big, long, sweeping roof to get the same effect for the rear shocks. The other features of the body meets all the US RCCA requirements on the length, width, and height. We incorporated the roof scoop. So now when you're on your lid, you're not just going to be stuck. You're either going to roll left or right, and even forward to backwards because of the whole curved roof. So the XR10 is a completely new ground-up design. The AX10 and the SCX10 use the same axles, but the axles on the XR10 are totally new. We went with the different style C hub and knuckles and the straight axle adapters. The universals are a lot bigger, so the spacing there is quite a bit different. So none of the components are interchangeable. One of the cool features of the XR10 is the wheels. We worked with Vanquish, and Steve Brown and Jim and Tom, they're all really great to work with. And we came up with the wheel design. We licensed their wheel weight slugs for our wheels. So it's a very similar design to their wheels that use their slugs. You can basically insert the weights, as many as you need to, into the wheel to adjust your weight. There's actually a lock that slips in behind the ring. So once you put your weights in, you simply loosen up or tighten 3 of the screws to adjust that lock and take the weights in and out. So we're also going to work with Vanquish. They're going to have a lot of cool parts for this rig once it's released, and they get their hands on one. They're definitely going to go crazy with it. The response on RC Crawler has been amazing. Really enjoy working with RC Crawler and showing them everything, because these are the hardcore guys that we're trying to appeal to with this rig. We definitely appreciate all the feedback, positive and negative. It's all good for us. Stuff we're going to learn from. We went through the same thing with the AX10, and we learned from what everybody did with them and how they used them and what changes they made. And well, yeah, the plastic housings, the extra clearance. There's a lot of little things there that
I don't consider them little things. I consider all that stuff that you did big.
the one I'm already testing, like the rear axle has hardly any scratches on it, just because of the clearance and the width of the tires.
I'm looking at it by not only that, but I'm looking at it by the weight.
Yeah, the weight too.
It's super light.
So yeah, we're gonna have internal wheel
The
weights
steering is the coolest.
for those wheels.
How
And then
is
I
that?
loaded up my wheels with those.
I
and
mean,
the
it's
vanquish
built
weight.
into the axle
And the
housing.
vanquish weight.
It's just a
Put it
whole
on
out
the
of the
vanquish.
box
The,
thinking.
you know the
It's-
slugs that
Yeah.
Vanquish uses? They fit in those wheels.
I know.
Look at how
I
simple,
knew
but
that,
how smart.
I mean, what are you talking about?
So how's the cutting brake on it work?
Well, the front and rear housings are different. It still has a spool in the back, but when the option comes out for the cutting brake, you're going to see a different spool with some teeth in there and some new axle shafts and everything. Sure.
But you've pretty
It's
much
a comp-
incorporated the cutting brake into the design now.
Yeah,
and you just
so
have
a guy
to
can
upgrade
buy
some
the
internals.
kit. Yeah, exactly.
So the housing doesn't have to be upgraded, just the internals.
Yep, just the gear and a
Nice.
few other parts. You know, we're basically, for now, initially, it's just going to be a kit. We're not going to do a roller or an RTR at the moment.
This right here?
It's $299.
Yeah.
Without tires.
Without tires.
And no motors. The kit's going to be available the first week of August. It should be showing up in hobby shops and online retailers. The price is going to be $299. We might see slightly lower prices on online stores.
Will Axial Man fly one to my house direct from the factory?
Yeah, that's how they're getting delivered. The Axial Man's going to have the whole shipment on his back right behind him. He's going to deliver them real quick.